Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time. That's for you folks who live in other parts of the country. You can also find us on the radio at icradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates. You can also find us on television, Channel 182 on Charter Communications, and syndicated on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast at thenewscaster.com. Continue sending emails. That makes my day. Anything you would like for me to, any specific subject you would like for me to talk about, I'll be glad to do the research for you, because John Merrill is with us. And John, I was the original geek in school. I hung out in the library, and so I just like research. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
So John Merrill is with us. He's a former Alabama Secretary of State. And I'm so glad this is perfect timing, because you set the precedent for Alabama. And I have total confidence in voting in Alabama now. And another confidence factor that you brought in was actually voting early. And I did the mail-in. Phil and I have never done mail-in. It's always been in person. But I feel confident because of your policies.
Well, you should. And one of the things that we were able to do is to streamline the action for people that wanted to vote absentee by mail, to make sure that whenever they participated in that activity that way, you were also able to follow your ballot. So from the time that your application was submitted and time it was received by the absentee election manager, when they returned your ballot to you, and then you completed your ballot and returned it to them, all of that is traceable and trackable on the website at alabamavotes.gov. And people care about that today. They want to make sure that their vote counts for the candidate of their choice. But in Alabama, we're just going to do that one time.
Absolutely. You know something, I was talking to Dana Greason, Todd Greason's wife. And so Dana was reflecting on the number of mail-in ballots they had. She said, we've almost been overwhelmed.
Yes,
had that
there have been more people vote absentee this time than in recent memory. Outside 2020, when a large portion of people voted absentee. But it should be noted that Alabama is the #1 state in the nation for in-person voting on election day. So we take a lot of pride in that too. But we want to make sure that those that need to vote early because of illness, because of absence, because of travel, because of work, they will be able to do so. As a matter of fact, I've already voted absentee. I did that the week after the absentee option began in our state. So we want to allow people to do that whenever they need to do that, so that they'll know that their vote has been counted as well. And in everything we do, we want to make it easy to vote and hard to cheat.
Absolutely. And thank you again for making that happen. So you can also, if you're going ahead, if you want to vote early, you can actually walk it to the courthouse, can't you? I mean, you have to have ID.
You can make application in person. You can make application by mail. You can have them return your ballot to you by mail, and you can actually return your ballot in person if you choose to, or you could go do the entire process in person at the absentee election manager's office up until tomorrow, the deadline for making application for the absentee ballot. And then you'll have to make sure that you vote in person on election day.
I will have to say this, though. Voting day is almost like a holiday to us. We enjoyed going out there and seeing neighbors and friends and that kind of thing. It's just something, I don't know. You just feel like you're doing I'm missing that. That's the only thing.
Well, and a lot of people use that as an opportunity to catch up with their friends and their neighbors in a social environment, not loitering at the polling place because that's illegal, but going and sharing this common time with their friends and their family to make sure that they're casting their ballot for the candidate of their choice.
I got to work and I say got to work the polls because I had a good time doing this, and I felt like I was doing something, for the community. But I was really astonished at the kids, the young kids who were getting to vote the first time. I'm calling them kids, but they were old enough to vote for the first time, walking in with their parents, and they were so excited about that. I felt really good about that. The young
one
folks.
Of the things that we started too, Donna, just several years ago now, was encouraging students that are age 16 or above to be able to work the polls on election day. They can do everything except handle a ballot. that enables them to pay their civic rent and to start becoming stronger citizens by participating in the election day process. Now, if they are 18 or older, they can actually work the polls and do every job that may be assigned at a polling place on election day. But they also receive course credit for participating this way, and it enables them to expand the number of people who can work the polls in each one of our 109,080 polling places in our 67 counties.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I feel really good about voting next week. The election is just, I think it's going to be an overwhelming for Trump. That's my opinion, just from what I'm seeing, things that are in place for him.
And again, I do think that we're going to break every record that's been set in the history of the state for voter participation. The highest number prior to this election cycle would be 2.3 million. I think we're going to top that number. We have more than 3.7 million voters that are currently registered in the state of Alabama. So I think we're going to see high numbers of people go to the polls. It's going to be an exciting day.
I think so too. And I think Kamala Harris made that happen. I really do. I'm going to give her credit for this because of what she said. There were two Christian young folks who were at one of her rallies, and they spoke of Jesus Christ being their Lord. And she yells out at them that they're at the wrong event, that they should be at the little event down the road. That woke up a lot of Christians who hadn't been voting.
It did, and it stunned a lot of people with her response. And one of the things that I really felt like she probably mishandled that, because she could have simply said, there's another rally down the street that deals with another issue that's important to all of us, and you may need to be down there expressing your opinion and your concern there. Because at first, I think there were some people that were confused, thinking that she was talking about a Trump rally. But when she said the smaller rally down the street, that should have been a clue that it could never be a Trump rally, because all the Trump rallies are going to be bigger than hers, especially if you're in the same city. But she was talking about an anti-abortion rally that was taking place just down the street. And when people started sending that message out, I think it encouraged a lot of people to gain some enthusiasm they'd been lacking.
Why do you feel like voting is such a civic duty? I mean, to depend on other people, there'll be plenty more. My vote won't count. What would you say to that?
Well, I think it's very important for people to express their opinion and their concern about all the issues that face us. And the seminal way to do that is on election day, casting your ballot for the candidate of your choice, or for the issue that's on the ballot that's important to you in that particular cycle. And if you don't vote, then you're not letting your voice be heard. And that's a major problem, because other people will decide where the country's going, where your state's going, where your local jurisdiction is going, because of their participation and because you abdicated your responsibility.
Something, you've been very successful in your run for office, and because you talk to everybody. You've been to all 67 counties, but it's a correlation between you and Trump, because Trump, of course, we were hearing the rumors. Kamala said she worked in a McDonald's, and what did Trump do? He goes and works at a McDonald's. And so, it made me think of you.
It made a big difference and a big impact in the campaign for people to see him humble himself to a job that a lot of people look at and say, that's not a job that I would want, or that I would want my children to have. Mm-hmm. But what I think he was showing was that all work is honorable, and that's what the Bible teaches. And he went there and he worked a shift. I mean, he made the fries, he salted the fries, he served the customers, he gave them the product that was produced there in the store, and answered questions that they have. And of course, a lot of the people that came by, their most significant event of the day was getting to see President Trump in person, get to shake his hand and talk to him for a brief period of time when they were picking up their food. And then he paid for the food that all of those people came by and ordered that day. And I think that was something that was lost on the folks that actually watched what was happening. But one of the things, he's a very generous person. And a lot of people would say, well, he's a multimillionaire, he can afford to be generous. But if you study anything about President Trump and his actions that have allowed him to reach the point that he's reached today, you'll see that traditionally and historically in his career and in his life, he's done that over a period of time. It's not a new thing.
Well, you're a friend of President Trump. What are some things we don't know, we don't see on the camera about Trump?
Well, I think there are a number of people who've asked me that question before, and course, Karen's had an opportunity to meet President Trump. Brittany in our office, who you also met when we all went to Mar-a-Lago for the very first time, and subsequently I've had the opportunity to go a few more times down there. But one of the things that impressed all of us that day was how generous he was, not just with his time, but with the gifts that he gave us, with the gifts that he gave us to give to other people, with the questions that he asked us, with the time that he spent with us when we were supposed to have 15 minutes with him when we went. And we went that very first time because it was the time when we were going to record the commercial that he made for the state of Alabama to promote voter registration and photo ID delivery. But the first thing he asked us when we finished the assigned time with him was if we had had anything to eat. And we said no. And he said, well, why don't y'all come to my office? And so he had all of his workers that were there with us, and I think there were 2 or 3 of them, bring all the things that we had brought with us for him to sign and some gifts that we had for him. And they took all of those things up to his private office. He gave us a private tour of the facility as we were walking around. Then we went to his office, and also Governor Mike Huckabee was there during the same time that we were there. And he joined us for the first 20 minutes of our time together, and then he had another obligation and had to leave. But President Trump spent an hour and 40 minutes with us. And at least 3 different times during the time he was with us, he had people that called him. He had aides that came in and interrupted our meeting. And each time he pushed them aside and told them to tell the people that he would get back with them. And one of those was one of his children that called during that time. And just spending the time with us and making sure that we had a great experience. And that would have been enough. But then when we left the meeting and we went back to the hotel where we were all staying, before we got out of the vehicle, he called on the cell phone and he said, what are y'all doing for dinner tonight? And we indicated to him that we didn't have any plans. And he asked us if we'd like to come back to Mar-a-Lago and be his guest. And so obviously, we said, no, sir, we have too much going on. Certainly. Of course, we said, no, sir, we'll be back there.
What's wrong with you?
And so we turned around and went back to Mar-a-Lago, and we were his guests for dinner that evening. And he's just so kind and generous. And as many times as I have been to Mar-a-Lago, as many times as I've spent private time with the president, where it's just been the 2 of us, as it has on some occasions, or if it's been with several other people whom we have met, including members of Congress or governors or other elected officials. He's always just been very personable. He's been very direct. I have found him to be very open to suggestions. He's been open to criticism because I have criticized him and I have corrected him sometimes when he shared some things that were not accurate. I did that just last week on something that he sent out that was not accurate, and made sure that he knew what was correct. And he has not shared that again since that time. And it's been my personal experience that he's open to that, especially when he knows that you have his best interest in mind, as opposed to so many people that criticize him and are just trying to embarrass him or trying to put him in a bad light. Because the one thing about him is, if you try to put him in a bad light, or if you try to push him, he's going to push you back and harder. And yet I know from personal experience, when you share something with him, when you know that he's wrong and you correct him, he's always treated me with respect. And I can't think of an instance where I've corrected him and he continued to promote that narrative.
Terry Lathan said the same thing when she got to meet him the first time, and I had her on the show, and she wanted to share her experience with him. She said, Donna, he's nothing like I've seen on the news. Nothing. She said he was very personable, just like you said. She said he looked me in the eyes when he was talking to me, and she thought he was going to be a blabbermouth and not let her get a word in edgewise. She said he asked a question, and then he very politely sat there and listened to me. And she said, I almost didn't know what to say, because she said, I thought it was not going to be that way. And she said, I'll tell you, I was wrong about my first response with him. She said,
and the only time that I found him to interrupt me whenever I'm talking to him or speaking with him was when he had additional questions about something that I shared, not to interrupt me and interject his opinion or to come back with something. But I think, again, that's the mark of a successful business person, because he listens well And that's one of the reasons why he's been able to take projects and been able to move those projects faster and better than anyone else that had attempted to do that before.
Absolutely. That's why he's successful. That's it. Very successful businessman. I wanted to say this, though, about McDonald's. He loves McDonald's. You remember when he was at Clemson, or had the Clemson football players over to the White House,
Right.
and he bought them all McDonald's that day, too.
Right.
We have to go into a commercial break. Can you believe it? Man, time flies. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
You ask and we listen. We're finally bringing the most requested offer ever. Get the queen size premium MyPillow, now only $19.98. MyPillow is made with patented adjustable fill. It adjusts to your exact individual needs regardless of your sleep position. It helps keep your neck aligned and holds its shape all night long so you get the best sleep of your life. But that's not all. Get our 6-piece kitchen or bath towel sets only $25. Our brand new mattress topper as low as $69.98. Get our famous MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $25 and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get huge discounts on all MyPillow products, including the premium queen-size MyPillow, only $19.98. That's the lowest price ever. Don't delay, order today. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks America!
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer. Yes. Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Good afternoon. We're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. That's why we have John Merrill with us on a regular basis, because the truth does matter, and he gives it to us. I'm just telling you. And I'm thanking you, John, for all the things you put in place that make it so much more comfortable to vote in the state of Alabama. I really do. I've said that a dozen times today.
I appreciate that. And
I feel good about it.
Depends on our 68 probate judges, our 68 circuit clerks, our 67 sheriffs, thousands of poll workers, our 201 registrars. When those people do the work that they're supposed to do, the way that they're supposed to do it, then things go very smoothly. And it's like I told somebody in an interview today from Houston that called and wanted to know what my thoughts were and why I felt so comfortable about the election when I was the Secretary of State. I explained to them the time to start preparing and getting ready for the election, if it's November the 5th, like it is this year, is not October the 5th or even September the 5th. It's January the 5th. It's February the 5th. It's May the 5th, June the 5th. It's all the time leading up to the election, so you're prepared. And if you're prepared properly, then as the time comes to fully implement and administer the election, you're not concerned. You don't have a sense of uneasiness. You know that things are going to go right and well because of the preparation that's been done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I wanted to mention, this is, again, boots on the ground, Donna, okay, because I'm out here with everybody. And so I will say Ronnie Osborne speaks nothing but high of you. And so who's talking about your concern and your care and getting the information out there to them. They weren't left holding the bag, in other words.
Well, Judge Osborne is one of those people, and of course he's a probate judge in DeKalb County for those that may not know. But Judge Osborne is one of those people that was always trying to find a way to do things better, and also making sure that he knew what the expectation was from Montgomery. And we never wanted to do the job or do the work for our people who were in each one of our counties, but be there as a supporter, be there as an advocate, and be there to help them accomplish their goals and do their jobs at their local setting.
Well, I'll have to tell you, I helped actually twice in 2 different elections. And so, you go to kind of like a camp where they're going to teach you what to do and what not to do. And so I remember Ronnie, definitely things that Ronnie and I are good friends. His mother and my mother were friends and all that stuff. So Ronnie said, he was up there talking. He said, now, you got to have voter ID, okay? You've got to see, that they're that person they say they are. Well, we're in an area where almost everybody knows everybody, but I had lived in Charlotte, North Carolina for 9 years. And there were a lot of people that I didn't know. I mean, so I hadn't been here in a long time. And so I was working the polls. Well, this guy comes in. It was obvious he was voting Democrat. So he comes in, and I'm here taking the names and looking at ID. I had that little job right there. And so he comes in, and I wanted to see his ID. And I was just as kind as I could be, just sweet, syrupy sweet to him. And so he said, everybody here knows who I am. And I said, well, I don't know who you are. And I said, I've got to see your ID. And so he left it out in the truck. And then, but I remembered Ronnie, what he said, you got to see the ID, okay? And so I thought of something. I thought, well, I'm going to break this monotony up. And I said, you work for the state just to see if I'm going to ask for the ID, don't you?
That's great.
And he looked at me really funny. And I said, you're just testing me. This is a test. And I said, did I pass? And he said, oh, you're going to make me go get it, even though everybody here knows. I said, but I don't know you. I know this is a test. So he goes out to the truck, comes in. We didn't have that many people at that time, particular time. So he comes in and gives it to me. And then he walks off like he's mad at me. And I'm thinking, I don't want him mad at me. He is a Democrat. So anyway, he walks off, he votes, and he comes back around and he looks at me. And I said, you work for the government, don't you? He said, it's obvious you're a conservative, but I think I like you. And I said, well, I like you too. But it's important to be trained, and we were trained. And thank you for that leadership that handed it. It starts at the top with you.
Well, and there's another thing too in that particular situation. If you explained to him, which you didn't have to, but you could say, well, we know you have a lot of friends here, and if you want them to sign an affidavit to indicate that they know who you are, so they'll have to interrupt their work and come over and sign that sheet when you testify to who you are. And by law, this is allowed. Then I'm sure that you can find a couple of your friends here that will be able to do that to you. But I'm not sure that you want them to have to stop what they're doing in order to help you with that.
Be kind.
Correct. Exactly.
Please rewind.
Exactly. When you do it like that, then they kind of understand what you're trying to say and how you're trying to do it.
Absolutely. We're going to have to, in 3 minutes, we're done. I can't believe this. I wanted to thank Karen Guthrie, by the way, who is, she makes
all you're thinking of, because she's the very best. So
girl.
Wherever she goes, she's the best at everything she does. So
girl.
And having her alongside me when I was in Montgomery and then here at Waggoner, it's so funny because when she came here, there were so many people that as they were looking at her service and the different talents that she had, and they're like, I'm sure that they thought that it was just me trying to improve my comfort level coming here. And I explained to them what a benefit it would be to the firm if they hired her. And now she's been here, they promoted her again, given her additional assignments, all the things that should go with somebody that is as excellent as she is. And I know they wonder how they were ever able to make it before she came here. And so I appreciate you saying that about her, but she is excellent, as you know.
And Cindy for being such a supporter too. I mean, she is absolutely awesome. Cindy,
well, there's obviously a special place in heaven for her, having to live with me for almost 40 years.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything.
You don't have to. All the people that are watching it know, they know it.
You guys are the perfect couple. But I want to thank you so much for all of those things. Now, Waggoner Engineering. Now you're still traveling all over the place.
I am.
Where can people actually use the services of Waggoner Engineering? Is it only in Alabama?
No, because we have 19 offices in 6 states around the southeastern United States, and we only have 1 office in Alabama. But we try to work in as many counties that will allow us to work. And now we have had a lot of success in developing new projects and new project opportunities. And so we want to continue to try to deliver our services for civil engineering, as well as assisting communities whenever they're trying to improve themselves and the quality of life for the people that they're serving. So it can mean more than just providing water and sewer, road and bridge work, long-range planning, park design and development. Anything that can help them improve their quality of life is what we're interested in helping them advance, because we want them to do all they can for the people that they represent.
And that's what you do. You always try the best for the citizens of Alabama, wherever you are. So we appreciate you doing that as well. John, we're going to have to call it a day. I can't believe how 30 minutes flies by when I have you on the show. Thank you so much.
You're so kind to have me as your guest, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Can't wait. Thank you, folks, for watching, and I hope you have a super duper awesome, blessed day today. See you next time. Bye-bye.